Well, we're coming now to we're going to do a little Q&A. We'll talk about almost we're 9 years and 50 weeks from into a podcast that we've been doing for almost 10 years.
I could have sworn the first episode came out early August.
You always say that.
Yeah.
I double checked it last week, and it was end of August.
End of August.
End of August.
I feel like maybe we recorded in July and maybe it didn't get out until then.
I'm not that lazy. I can edit within a week. I think
I don't know.
We recorded it in August. It came out in August.
My brain's always stuck on late July, early August.
So any thoughts, Ian, about almost 10 years? We talked about, we reminisced on the 350th episode, and it was at February or so. So
I mean, not to sound too serious about it, but I looked at the earliest episodes of the podcast, and I looked in the mirror, and that's 10 years. That's 10 years of living on my face. That's definitely.
We're both a bit older.
A decade worth of shit. It definitely.
People refer to you as that was the Prince Valiant, Ian.
The Prince Valiant, sure.
Because clean shaved, you had the nice.
I can't shave. I don't have a chin. I should have been wearing a full beard in
You have a chin?
high school. No, I don't. That's maybe a mogul, like a ski mogul, like a little bump.
Okay.
Someone can do a little trick off my chin.
Okay.
A tiny one.
All right. Can't do a 360, a 180?
I don't know.
Maybe a 180.
Just a little hot dogging. A little hot dogging on the moguls. That's
okay.
So, that's a big one. I don't know. What do you think about 10 years? Isn't it amazing?
I had to put up with this. I had to for 10 years.
It's amazing that we've done this. I had to put up with you for 10 years. It's incredible that we've done that.
Yeah. Well, a lot of
actually, it's not that.
A lot of married couples stay together and they shouldn't. I mean, it is what it is. But
yeah, we provide each other support in ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're there for each other. Friends are there.
I mean, for basketball, certainly. You are a good basketball.
It's the rare physical contact.
Yeah.
3.
I'm not even
2,
adding to it. And
1.
I
Okay.
take advantage.
All right.
It makes Pat.
And now we're good for 18 months.
Yeah.
That's good. A second every 6 months is the rule there. So no, yeah, it's been a nice.
Watching you transform from the video game friend into the basketball friend has been interesting.
Yeah, basketball, Ian, is a lot nicer. We commiserate more in basketball lately. It's great. New season coming out.
Yeah, you do lean heavily on trying to convert me into a Warriors fan. Then it's just not.
I don't try
happen.
to convert you, but you're like, this Steph Curry guy's not special. I'm like, what?
No, I think Steph Curry is a great player. I don't find him particularly fascinating.
You know that he's 6'2" is the top 10 player. He's a tiny player.
I'm sorry. I've never said he's not allowed. I've just said he doesn't excite me.
Okay.
Steph Curry doesn't excite me.
I think little Steph Curry is adorable and he's very nice. He's a great player.
He was into crypto.
No, he advertised that exchange, but that's it.
I see.
NFT a little bit. You're allowed to make a mistake. Everyone's allowed mistakes. Even Steph Curry's allowed mistakes.
I'm a much bigger fan of Klay Thompson.
I have a Klay jersey. Thank you, Ian.
You're welcome.
Klay Thompson is pure. He likes boating and he likes his cute pup Rocco the bulldog. So
my favorite thing ever, and I know I've told you about this, is I was watching.
How this turned to basketball?
Yeah, it's fine. It's okay because this is what we've turned into over the course of 10 years is old man basketball fans. You watch, you have League Pass, and you get to see all the stuff that goes on in between the commercial breaks and
at the stadium.
At the stadium, and they were showing the jumbotron once, and it was like this big stupid wheel that spun, and whatever it landed on, whatever instrument it landed on, everyone in the audience had to air do the instrument. Okay. So it was bongos, and everyone's out there like, doing the bongo thing, and that shows Steph Curry on the screen playing some bongos.
Oh, I've seen that video.
And he's very
subdued, just is doing it just because PR told him to do it.
No rhythm whatsoever. And then it shows Klay.
Hit the table, Ian. Let's get the sound effects. So Klay was experienced.
Yeah, Klay was very, very experienced. And I was like, see, he's cooler.
Yeah, you get a sandwich with Klay.
I'd get a sandwich with Klay.
You'd hang out. Klay would be in your buddy group. He would come over and hang out. Yeah. Just listen to music, play some pinball.
Roll a few,
sure, absolutely. Anyone here a Knicks fan at all, or Nets fan?
I just like all basketball teams.
Hey, Knicks this year have 2 players I like, Dante and Brunson. I love Brunson. He's a dog. So if they get
Randall, Julius. Don't you be mean to Julius.
I'm not mean, but he's got to show up sometimes. If they get a third player I really like, I'm back in on the Knicks after like 15 years of being off. I'll be back
good. Hart's all right.
I'm almost back in the Knicks. So
anyway, if anyone wants to ask us questions about
10 years, 10 years
cooking,
if you have any questions about 10 years, basketball, retro games,
we're here.
Yes.
Yeah, so out of the 10 years you guys have been doing it, it's been so much entertainment, all the wisdom you've bestowed over those years. The one gem I've been able to take and really benefit my life is your water pick advice.
Water pick. You want nice clean teeth? Water pick. Hashtag.
That's made such a difference, man. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Exclamation point water pick. Get a generic water pick on Amazon. Use my referral link. That's right.
Pets Pick, code Pets Pick.
Yes. See what you miss out not being in the Twitch stream every Wednesday with commercials?
Hey guys, so last year at the Expo, I asked you when the N64 book is coming out. You said probably in a couple months the Kickstarter should go live. So this year my question is, when is the N64 Kickstarter going to go live?
Pre-orders will be available this year for the N64 book. I wanted to wait until I don't like certain things in the video game space. I like to make sure I see a finish line before I'm entrusted with people's money. I could have taken pre-orders for this a year or two ago if I wanted to, but I'm not comfortable until I see the end zone and I'm rushing towards it.
Thank you. Look forward to it.
This time next year, that book will be out, or else you'll never see me again, because that's how bad the experience has been doing the book.
Hey, how you guys doing? I just wanted to ask you a question, Pat.
Yeah.
What are the pros and cons of YouTube when you first started, and what are the pros and cons of YouTube now?
The pros and cons of YouTube when it started. The pros of it when it started is that it was like a way of getting entertainment that you created independently, seen by a bunch of random strangers. Because before that, there wasn't a way to quickly and easily do that, especially for free. So it was a good artistic output to do it. The cons at the time were, you had the 10-minute upload limit for years and years. I didn't care that it wasn't monetized, but it was only monetized for special partners early on. I didn't care about that, though. I guess the other pro was there was a lot less competition. You weren't competing with so many channels, so that probably would help a lot of people earlier on. The pros and cons now, this could turn a whole conversation. I think
all the shitheads.
There's a lot of bad folks on YouTube that have audiences that YouTube should be like, hey, these people, they're spreading misinformation or bad stuff or whatever. But the algorithm, the algorithm almost creates the entertainment that people watch now, because people then shift their creativity towards, what do I think the algorithm's gonna want people to watch versus just doing your own thing. So a few years ago, I remember telling you about this after I moved into Castle Country. It's 3-4 years ago. All the back catalog stuff that I had, and to a lot of people, the views just dropped month to month, in half overnight, because all of a sudden they're like, we don't want people watching old evergreen content anymore like this. We want fresher content and more uploads. So they're constantly tinkering with an algorithm, and unless you know what the system wants, it's tough to predict what you're going to do on views.
It'll turn into churn too. It's the episodic content is not the thing anymore. It's get a little tidbit of news and immediately jump in front of your video game wall and talk about it.
That too, but I put so much time into that Steam Events video that came out, and I was so disappointed that the views it did were so little. Probably because at the time it was probably for this channel, this isn't the type of content people want. Maybe people only want podcast content. It's rough. But then I did a video last year saying I quit my job after 10 years and it got over 100,000 views, and I put zero effort into that video. That's just how it is, though. Effort when we did video game years, that was probably at the time the most work ever put into a retro video game video series. Probably could be almost to this day. The amount of man hours, number of people, and the amount of views it did was so low. I really was I don't know what this platform is for. Then it's not for this content. It was. This was also 10 years ago though, but it was really a punch in the gut. That wow, video game years is excellent. People enjoy it, but no one's seeing it on YouTube. And then it was on Prime. A ton of people saw it when it got to Prime,
which is interesting to me. Was it ever promoted on Amazon Prime?
No, it got in the algorithm.
Because you can find some really weird stuff on Amazon Prime if you go looking, but that's what I figured would have had to have dove for. It
got in the algorithm. There was a long watch time. So honestly, if video game years came out in 2023, being that they're all hour long and tons of watch time, it probably would have blew up. It was the wrong time for it.
I'm kind of glad that no one asks about video game years 90s anymore.
People still ask me.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. All right, thanks.
Well, thank you, guys. Keep rocking.
Woo! Ow! Keep on rocking Long Island.
Hey there, Pat and Ian. I have a quick question for you. So, with the emergence of AI, and especially with with the Hollywood writers' strike going on and the actors' strike going on, when do you see AI being used more towards video game creation?
Oh, hopefully, fucking never. I mean, that's.
Because-
No, I mean,
For artwork and graphics, or you mean for stories or everything?
For stories and
I
everything.
think stories you're not going to see for a long time because you're never going to have an AI that experience things in a soulful way to like reach down and really do that sort of like deep art that comes from like pain and anguish or happiness that like.
yeah, but the problem is how many people want that now, and that's
Well-
the terrifying thing.
True, but
What kind of pablum can
But
sell?
even when you see like AI art, you're like, I can kind of tell that
you
this
can-
is
yes.
soulless. At least he's like, this is just a pastiche of other styles and other pre-existing things. Like that's what AI is.
And with stories, you're just gonna get constant distillations of other stories and ideas. It's not gonna come up with anything unique on its own.
The art thing for games as AI art, I don't know if that's as big a concern just because there's so many Unity assets and things that are free that are most of these games that come out, or a lot of them are not. They buy this art that pre-exists anyway. There's tons of packs for this stuff, so that it's almost like it'd be almost too much trouble to try to AI create an entire like.
Sadly, not. I've seen a
Template-
lot of
okay.
games now. A lot of newer like churn like asset flips indie games using it even says right in the description with AI assisted art, and it's very, very obvious.
Well, I guess at some point Steam will probably crack down on that.
I would be very
You think
surprised.
so? Well, that's disconcerting.
Yeah.
But I think we're way far away from like, oh, this is a movie that was like written by AI and has all AI art. I'm like, I don't think we're going to get there anytime soon. And that's hopefully what the strikes hopefully prevent, especially for the writers, where we're not going to be doing AI written material and filming it. It's just ridiculous.
I think that's one of the biggest stakes with it
Oh, yeah.
because there was that, the info going around about like people getting scanned for $400 and then
for background actors,
Yeah.
that's on the actor side where they want to scan your image and then we'll use
Own it forever.
your face for an eternity in a movie as a background. Like, hey, we're gonna scan all your face in the audience. We'll just use you in movies forever and not have to credit or pay you. It's like, oh, okay, that seems over the top evil.
Yeah. Sign up for your 8th month rent, like
Yeah.
$400. Jesus.
Congrats on reaching 350, and I'm glad with the new transition to these specials that you guys been creating. I know it's not as getting the same content we're used to, but I'm glad to see you guys in a better place as well.
Crumbs are better than nothing. Thank you.
Hey, Pat and Ian, welcome back again. I'm glad to see you guys again.
Good to see you.
I just want to ask you a question. That video that you guys roasted Tommy Tallarico was excellent.
Which
It was
one?
Excellent. It
I was saying it's like
the one
50.
with that apology letter. Oh my God, you guys destroyed him.
The apology
It was
letter.
the apology letter that hour long. There was a quick one.
You mean the
latest
video he
one.
posted?
Yeah.
Oh, the response to his
Yeah, that was- oh my God.
private video that he posted everywhere.
Yeah, but my question is,
The pasta
Come up and
pals,
have
yeah.
pasta.
Yeah.
Hey, come over
Just,
here.
let's break the
Paisani.
bread.
Yeah,
Like, what the
come
hell
on,
is
man.
that?
Anyways, my question is for you guys: is how do you guys feel about Starfield? Do you think there's going to be a too big of a game to even complete?
Have you heard about the scope?
I mean, I have, and it's huge, and I wish I had a better answer. I
many planets
realized
is
the other
this?
day I don't really play these types of games anymore.
Yeah.
I'm so divorced from big budget AAA gaming that I really don't. I don't know. Like I was talking to a friend earlier, and I said to her, "I'm interested in Armored Core 6." But that's the first. I mean, I'm going to play the shit out of that. Like that's a guarantee. I love the series, but that's the first game like big studio, big budget that I've played in forever. And I think a lot of the reason is I don't like games that are that big. I don't like open world stuff. I kind of want a more guided, curated experience. So I do think Starfield will be too big for me. Yes.
But you like the other space exploration
Yeah,
game.
I love No Man's Sky, but that's
Yeah.
because I just dick around. I don't do anything in No Man's
this is
Sky.
supposed to have over 1,000 planets
Yeah,
and 100 different star systems. So if that's not procedure generated, if they actually carefully made 1,000, I'm sure most don't have people on them. It's like just rocks and
I don't know.
garbage.
We'll see.
Not weird dinosaur creatures that are procedurally generated.
We love the weird dinosaur
like your weird
creatures.
dinosaur creatures, even though they falsely advertised that at the beginning. Anyway,
Well, that game is like 500 times bigger than what it released as.
so All right, we'll see. I like the space exploration stuff. So Starfield is something I'll keep an eye on it.
I want to see what it's like.
All right, thank you very much.
Hello.
Hello, good afternoon, gentlemen.
Good afternoon.
What is the first game the two of you fell in love with as a child? I'm fully aware tastes change, but I'm just curious. What was the first game the two of you fell in love with as children?
So I've got two. I know I loved video games as a kid. I was talking to my friend the other day here about how much I love the Atari 5200 version of Pac-Man. I consider it my Pac-Man because I played it with my grandfather. But two games that I became obsessed with as a kid were the first two games I rented for the Nintendo when I had a friend sleep over, and I was like 7 or 8, 9. And they were Mappy Land and Bugs Bunny's Crazy Castle. And I still love both those games to death. I love the entire Crazy Castle series. I have almost all of them. But yeah, those were like two of the games that I played. I loved them. They were only rentals. And when I got my first paycheck and went to the flea market, they were probably the first two games that I picked up that weren't purchased for me by like my parents or grandparents or something like that.
Oh, this is tough. It would have to be going into the Spaceport Arcade in the back, past the bikers. While my father was playing whatever he was playing, like in 85, 84.
Grown man golf or something like that.
I forgot, because that was before Operation Wolf. So
Such
I
a
don't know
good
what he
game.
was playing. I used to always play Operation Wolf, but that was like 86 or 87. 86,
Operation Wolf?
86, I think, was Operation Wolf. So maybe around the time, but the Spy Hunter, the sit-down cockpit version where it's all around you and the speakers are right there and
right.
has the good bass. And
That's a good choice.
just everything. The fact that you had the blinking lights for all your weapons, the Peter gun theme is amazing, but I haven't been in one in forever, and it's like I would love to own that sit-down version of that game. The wheel and everything was amazing. The shifter for high and low.
The sit-down games were
Yeah.
always so cool as a kid.
God.
Another one of my earliest memories, I don't think of it as much because it never got a good port. But my dad used to take me to this arcade in Buffalo called Fun and Games, and they had the sit-down Star Wars, and I remember playing that with him. And the sit-down Star Wars, the same. The sound is great.
Sure.
You just sucked in.
We went to black there.
All right, before I go, I just wanted to say the NES and Super NES books have been wonderful. I'm actually one of your backers.
Thank you.
I'm Minor Enigma, and if you make another book, I'll back that too.
Thank you so much.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Hey, Pat and Ian. Thank you guys for coming to LA Retro Gaming. This is probably more geared towards Ian, but Pat, feel free to chime in too. We know about heritage auctions and their numerous transgressions in the world of video game collecting. We know that over the last year they've been expanding into VHS and sealed VHS and that sort of thing and screwing that market up. Are you aware that they're now making a very serious push into the world of record collecting? And how do you feel about that?
Oh, fuck me.
Yeah, we're screwed.
That's miserable. And Jesus
What
Christ.
work though? It's an established market,
Jesus,
and you have savvy collectors.
I don't think they're. No, please God, no.
The difference is, record collecting is around for decades and decades and
Right,
decades
it's
and
an
decades.
established scene, and I mean, there are lots of. It doesn't make sense to me for it to work because it's already kind of established in record collecting that you don't keep your shit sealed because it fucking ruins it. And that's, I was talking, was it you or Frank yesterday talking about how it was before it opened, I was looking at all the computer software up front, and there's a lot of it that they kept sealed because it's sealed. That's, oh my God, it's brand new. But the boxes are crushed to absolute shit. And records are really bad about that if you find like old sealed records because you've only got a solid circle and you've got 4 floppy corners and it just starts to bend and crush it in.
So do they have an acrylic case for the albums already?
They do, and that concerns me because
That sounds awful.
their whole the idea behind is that it's protecting the record. But for decades, there have been protective PVC outer sleeves that are known to destroy the record over time. How do we know that these don't outgas or something and destroy the record that's in?
Well, and I think that goes for anything that is sealed, like with a sealed Nintendo game. It's not a maybe. You give it 50 years, it's going to look like shit. And then what does your 9.8, very good plus mean? Nothing.
Plus.
Plus. And that's what will happen to. my question is, are they just trying? I still think it's stupid if it's unsealed records, but I know these fuckers are going to try to put a fine point on sealed collected records.
It does get better for the unsealed records because the way that they're making that very unique is they are needle dropping and doing digital transfers of the record's content and offering them to whoever's getting it.
Wada does that too, and it's cute sounding.
NFTs.
But no. Oh, NFTs.
Yeah, that's how they're doing it. And I think that's a whole legal minefield for them with the major record labels too. If they're doing, that's a whole can of worms.
All right,
ruined my day.
We'll have to keep track of that. We'll have to keep track as that goes.
Boo Heritage Auctions, everyone. Thank you guys for coming.
Thanks for depressing Ian.
I have two questions. Sure. One, what exactly inspired you to start up a podcast?
We were bored.
I was doing my awkward live stream.
Yeah, and I was like, these are awkward, and I said, let's focus this up.
And that's what. So you two were starting a podcast because you were bored, like no other.
I think this is bored. I figured, we have good conversations.
Yeah, it's just like you were talking. You're like, I think the thing I remembered you saying was, I do these 3-hour things and people tune in, but I'm not exactly sure why. And I think you were kind of bored with it, and it was like, well, focus on some topics to talk about.
That makes
That's
sense.
kind of what I remember.
That makes sense.
You were bored with the 3-hour streams.
Hey, Patty Ian, hi. Can you hear me?
Hi, Elvis.
Hey, see, he knows my name, guys. That's great. I honestly feel kind of ashamed. I didn't know your podcast has been around for 10 years, so I want to congratulate you personally. I could be here all day talking to you guys, but it's almost the end of the podcast, so I won't do that. Plus, I could talk to you later. You're Powder Room, right?
Yeah, we'll be at our booth afterwards.
Yeah, so I guess my question before I take up too much of your time is that since we were talking about the Nintendo Switch 2, here's a fun question to ask. Do you think Nintendo is in a rush to even make a Switch 2 because the sales for the Switch is still going high and Mario Kart is still going high too?
They've started to dip, and I think that's probably the bigger indicator that it's actually coming because they did start to kind of crest.
Yeah, I mean, 7 years is a long time
for Nintendo, especially
for any console platform. So I mean, and plus you're going to have third-party devs are going to be like, well, we want to use some newer tools that we want hardware to support. And that's it's a combination of things that happens, like if you want to do a sequel, like I said, the Rabbids game, maybe you want to.
Well, there's a sequel, but yeah, probably.
I mean, a new one.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
like you want to use tools that technology jumps. Nintendo's always a generation behind, and it seems like they're always playing catch up. So I think it's the time with their machine learning that they patented.
We gotta talk about that later.
Patented.
I knew you were gonna do that as soon as it came out of your mouth.
All right.
Well, I'll go by you guys later in your booth, but thank you.
Get it? Because it's packed.
I'll probably listen to you guys more often. I got like hours of entertainment to work to get behind, so
thank you.
Thank you guys.
Patented.
Stop it. Jesus, please.
Okay?
Please.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Hey.
First of all, I just want to say thanks again for signing my cart. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Can't wait to put it on eBay and be your next scumbag seller of the week.
Hell yeah.
There is someone that's still auctioning off.
I'm kidding.
A signed my book.
Yep.
It has like $1,000 on eBay. I had a spite or something. It's
well, it's a good thing. It's like a canary in a cage because if it sells, that's when you know that iron is that's when it's time to strike.
Oh man.
I'm kidding. It's going right on my shelf, But just two quick questions. I'm just curious. What's your favorite LGN games?
For all consoles or just NES?
Let's just say NES.
I love Jaws, but I mean Atlas
That's my
developed
favorite.
it.
Jaws is my favorite.
Jaws is a good game.
I like Jaws, and then any system.
TNC I love.
Let's stick with NES, I guess.
Oh damn.
You got TNC.
TNC is good.
Cool Cat. We stand Cool Cat, the surfer cat.
Oh yeah.
What did you that look for?
I was like Cool Cat.
The Tuxedo Cat. Yeah.
Tuxedo Cat. That was
Cool Cat.
Cool Cat.
All right, and this I don't know what prompted me to ask this. Do you prefer pizza rolls or pizza bagels?
Pizza roll.
Pizza
roll.
bagels.
Ooh.
Yeah, you want to know why? You know what really solidified it for me?
Controversy.
Because I am easily manipulated by TV and cartoons. And one of my favorite cartoons is We Bare Bears.
Love that show.
And Ice Bear loves pizza bagels. They all like pizza bagels, but Ice Bear really likes pizza bagels. So I was like, fuck it. If ride or die, if it comes down to a choice like today. Apparently when I decided this like 5-6 years ago, I didn't realize this, the answer is pizza bagels.
I don't think my mom ever bought me pizza bagels or pizza
My mom
rolls.
used to make them.
Oh,
That was good.
That's love.
But now every once in a while I'll buy like a 24 rack of bagel bites and just house it.
Oh, okay. Oh, there's your answer.
Great answer. Thanks, guys.
You're welcome.
Ian Housen pizza bagels. That's an image.
Well, now that we're all hungry, my question will be a public service announcement. So you guys have been here before. I have not. I want a pizza. Where do I go?
Oh, they're the people that ask up there. They're the locals.
They're the ones who would really know. I had pizza from D'Angelo this time when I came in, and it was very good. I had a Sicilian and a regular. The Sicilian was
Cool.
Little Vincent's.
Little
My
Vincent's.
answer. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
All right.
Now I don't have
Yeah,
time.
just look at this as we're your live Yelp right here.
Okay, it's time for my question. First of all, Pat, congratulations on 15 years on YouTube.
Thank you so much.
And to you and Ian on 10
Two
years
claps.
of the CU podcast.
Thank you.
Hey, there's some clapping. All right.
There we go. And I saw a black tiger cabinet upstairs. So
Black Tiger.
Yeah.
Someone else told me it was rare. Remember the last Flea Market
Yes.
Madness? It's a rare Black Tiger cabinet. I was like, yeah, it's super rare.
It's a good game.
Yeah.
It's
My
rare.
question
It's not
is, are your family or friends that were in Pat the NES Punk episodes, are they ever recognized, like Allison?
Oh, wow. Going back, Allison. I don't know if Allison has been recognized. Shout out to, remember Allison? Knee me in the balls.
Yep, that was good.
That
was high
good.
comedy.
That was real. That reaction was real.
Nut pain is hilarious.
Yes, that was a real shot. She missed the thigh and got one of the boys. Allison,
You wanted her to do that, right?
I don't know if Allison has been recognized. I haven't talked to Allison in years and years. She was in the 10th anniversary video. She had a cameo. Frank gets recognized all the time around time. Frank gets recognized randomly. Plus, because Frank actually has a unique look and he's loud, has that voice.
You
so
can't miss Frank.
Can't miss Frank. Frank's been recognized.
Yep.
I think Frank's been recognized in public more than me. Like he goes, yeah, someone last week saw me at the supermarket and said hi.
He's kind of like Peter Falk in that way that you can't identify him as anyone else.
I don't hear the resemblance to
Yeah,
Peter
you can never recast Frank, right? That's
Right.
it. He's
No,
locked in.
that's it. So-
It's like Indiana Jones. You can't recast him.
Just one more thing, like the Peter Falk Columbo catchphrase. And that was it.
Oh, okay.
I was just saying that. Thank you again.
All right. One more thing. Just one more thing. And the best shirt ever, the Super Potato shirt.
It's a nice shirt. I like it. Good stuff.
I'll get there eventually in Japan.
All right, then. So, first of all, I want to say it's great to be within your presence, standing within your presence. Your episode with the Angry Video Game Nerd on Nintendo World Championships is among the best he's ever produced, and part of that is due to the fact that you were there.
That's a praise beam directed
Thank
right
you
at
so
you.
much. Shout out NWC Video. We co-wrote that one. That was a collaboration. That was a good video.
Fantastic episode. Two quick questions. The first one's going to be quicker than the next one. First one is, what was it like working with James Rolfe on the episode, from what you can recall?
On the first one? Because we worked together several times.
Nintendo World Championship, specifically.
Well, it was interesting because I hadn't. We had done little things before together. We did the first NES marathon. I did a little.
Yeah, that was cute.
A little top secret
those
episode one.
videos he always did for the marathon.
Yeah,
Nice.
Yeah, it's great. We've done like 9 of them together, 9 or 10. But the working with James was interesting because we have extremely different personalities. He's more quiet. He's nicer than me. I'm an ass.
You're just a little gruff.
Thanks, Ian. But our like sensibilities of like storytelling are somewhat similar, and our senses of humor is about like what we think is funny. Like, what do we think this is funny? Is that joke funny, or is this moment funny? We're like lockstep for that. So our sense of humor is that's why that came together well. We didn't really argue or disagree about anything. It was like building upon script ideas and setting things back and forth. So like he thought things I did were funny. I thought things that he did were funny. So we were like lockstep, except for everything but the ending we disagreed on with that. I wanted to go a little bit more subtle on the ending. He wanted the over the top, Three Stooges sort of ending. That was about it. But that's why we get along so well, and that's why we like trust each other working together. Like on Combat, for example, like I wrote that thing and he was like, let's do it. Like, he trusted that what I was going to do with the character was going to be like proper and respectful and like not just abusing this sort of like brand that was been built up for like at this point almost 20 years. First AVGN stuff was like 2004, I believe. It's almost 20 years. 2006 on YouTube, but he was doing like the VHS like short film stuff before that. So yeah, no, working with James is great. I want to work with him again in the future. We'll see, but he's always open to, he's always receptive to like good ideas with the character.
Yeah. The second question that I've got, and I'm sure you two are able to answer this quite easily because you've just consumed so much media. What is your favorite example of Hollywood getting video games blatantly wrong? And this can be as something, in the case of, for example, character sitting in the living room playing with a Logitech USB controller, absolutely mashing the buttons, and it's the stock Atari sound effects playing. That kind of example. Where it's
This is a really good question, and I wish I had it. Like
the worst
off the top
example of
my
that,
head
of them just not getting it right.
Totally wrong.
I mean, I hated
Player One?
I hated Stranger Things. How they were saying in '85, how everyone had an NES, or '86 is like no one in the Midwest was having an 86 had an NES and was like, oh, it's like a term like Atari now, and Nintendo is like, no, it wasn't. Right. That wasn't written by people that were here though. They're in Europe, so I'm like, that makes sense. But that bothered me because they did it 3 times that season.
Right.
You kids playing your Nintendo. It's like, dude, you have no idea what Nintendo is in spring of '86. You have no clue.
I can't think of a worst, but I can give you one of my favorite, and it's accurate, pretty accurate. Karate Champ in Bloodsport.
Oh, that's a great one.
There you go.
You got to throw any Bloodsport reference you can throw in.
Any time. I can't.
What's another one that was totally wrong? You said you had a problem with Ready Player One? The use of
I
it?
was just being a jerk. I mean, I don't I hated the movie.
I didn't hate it. I just didn't see wow, it's a bunch of nostalgia thrown at you in different characters.
I hate nostalgia. I find it poisonous.
But
I find it poisonous, and it gave me poisonous.
Was that the appeal to some people? It's like, oh, I see.
Yes. It was just a masturbatory nostalgia trip. Wank.
Yeah.
If it makes the two of you feel any better, when my mate and I went to go see it for the first time, we were the only 2 people in the theater. And this was within opening weekend, as in the only 2 people that were present.
It made money.
No, right?
Yeah. Didn't seem that way.
Didn't seem that way.
We went to the cinema genuinely. So, yeah, that was it.
All right.
Wonderful. Thank you very much.
How much time? We got a few more minutes. We got
a few more.
That's 3. One last question.
We got one.
It's already 3. Wow.
Perfect.
I just performed like a whole acrobatic thing to get over here.
Oh, you okay? You parkour down here?
Yes, doing perfectly fine. My question is, what are your thoughts on the 2006 Happy Madison production film Grandma's Boy?
Grandma's Boy. I've only heard wonderful things about that movie. I've not seen Grandma's Boy. Have you seen it?
I have, but it's been so long.
Who's the guy that stars in that?
I don't know. That memory.
Scott Swartzen, is that his name? Nick Swartzen, is that the person in Grandma's Boy?
He went on tour for it, but he's not in it.
Is it the guy that was always playing the roller skating guy on Reno 911, right? He's the one that starred in that? Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know nothing about that movie.
I wish I could answer.
Oh no, it's fire. I mean, check it out. I think
it's fire.
Definitely an Ian type of movie.
It's an Ian type of movie.
Okay.
You know, it's all about. Yeah, it's just fire. Yeah, you get stoned.
Basically, they get high a lot.
All right, well, I'll let Ian watch that one and report back to me.
I'm looking forward
it's
to it.
It's fire. Yeah. I'll trust that recommendation. What's the IMDb on Grandma's Boy? Let's look that up.
I know people like
What's
it.
the over under of 3.5 out of 10 for that? IMDb. I think he's trying to troll us.
No, I don't think he is. People like that movie.
No, yeah.
He's not trying to troll anyone. I can't. I know I've seen it, but.
That's from 2006. The IMDb on Grandma's Boy. Oh, it's 6.9 out of 10.
Which is every movie ever made on IMDb.
I hear some nices in the crowd. 86,000 ratings. Okay.
Well, it's got video games.
Okay.
It's got weed, and it's got a monkey. So you should check it
out.
out.
A monkey?
Okay, that sells me.
All right.
But it's always a pleasure.
But it doesn't have cannolis, which are waiting for us back at our booth. You can come say hi to us.
Yeah.
Yes,
so,
Kevin Nash is in the beginning. Yes. He's one of the movers.
Making connections.
That's all the time we got. We'll be back at our booth. Come say hi. Watch us throw down some Italian pastries and have fun the rest of your weekend here at Long Island Retro Gaming Expo.